Henry Kissinger was part of the U.S. delegation to China in 1972. He was National Security Advisor and helped craft the Shanghai Communique with his Chinese counterparts. CGTN's Wang sat down with the former U.S. Secretary of State to talk about the 45th anniversary of the Shanghai Communique and the current state of China-U.S. affairs.
This year marks the 45th anniversary of the signing of the Shanghai Communique. You are very much involved in negotiation, the drafting of it. Now looking back, how significant is this piece of document in bringing U.S.-China relationship to where it is today?
The Shanghai Communique was the decisive expression of the new relationship. It stated the objective of cooperation. In it, the United States affirmed and accepted the principle of one China, and China indicated its desire for progress in our relationship on the basis of negotiation. So it was the formal expression of the new relationship.
But we know it was not easy to get to where you got. I mean, in the run-up to the signing of the document, there were domestic politics on both sides. You were at the height of the Cold War, but still you and the Chinese leadership made it happen. Any lessons and experiences that you think this current U.S. administration can learn from?
Well, the leaders of both sides decided that conflict between China and the United States would be a disaster for both people and would be unfortunate for the rest of the world. And in the current situation, these principles are, if anything, even stronger. I think it is essential for China and the United States to think of each other as potential partners, not as potential adversaries, and to solve their disputes on the basis of long-term cooperation. If we do not do this, the whole world will be divided, and other countries will be tempted to take advantage of that situation. And with modern technology and with the needs of the populations on both sides, it is essential that cooperation is the basic principle. That was true 45 years ago. It is in many respects even more true today.
President Trump said he would impose tariffs on Chinese goods up to 45%, named China a currency manipulator. And if you look at his picks for commerce, treasury secretaries, senior staffers, advisors, he may very well do that. What would be the consequences, in your opinion?
One can expect that people like myself and those leading Americans who for 8 administrations have pursued a common policy will continue to believe in those principles and will continue to advocate them. And I think in the end, President Trump will also follow comparable principles.
But President Trump is surrounded by people like Steve Bannon, who said a few months ago that U.S. and China, quote, are going to a war in South China Sea, and there's no doubt about it. I mean, Steve Bannon sits in the Council of National Security.
I think a war between China and the United States would be a misfortune for the peoples of both countries and for the peoples of the world. So I do not believe that we can build our policy on the expectation of confrontation with China, nor should China do it on its side. And so many things are said in domestic debates. The basic principles should be maintained.
Mm-hmm. And then in I don't want to talk about domestic politics, but in President Trump's inauguration speech, he emphasized America first, the merit of protectionism, where President Xi, a week later at Davos, stressed the importance of open and free trade and strengthening of globalization. Do you see this as somehow a shift in the balance of power in terms of global leadership?
For the first time in history, the different continents can now participate in creating an international order. That has never happened before. So President Trump has stated his views in his inaugural address. President Xi put forward a global view. I believe we will wind up with an agreement on international order, and we will not focus so much on what individuals have said at particular intervals. I have had the honor of meeting President Trump on several occasions, and I have every hope that the objectives that I described will find their way into the ultimate American policy.